Assalamualaikum.
Assalamualaikum.
Walaikum salam, brother. How are you?
Alhamdulillah. How's everything, man?
Well, fall finally arrived.
Yeah,
Got a
alhamdulillah.
little
Yeah.
cool weather in Dallas.
Oh,
So,
okay.
you know,
It's a little cool here, but
it's gonna be
it's
all
nice
right.
and sunny. Yeah.
Oh, is it? Yeah, it's sunny here.
Nice and,
It's just
yeah.
crisp. It's real crisp morning.
Yeah. Nice and sunny and green. Had my lawn taken care of yesterday by my guys, my Hispanic guys.
Okay.
Yeah, they said because I have them do periodic work, you know, talked about cutting some trees. The next task. Mhm.
Hmm.
So, so they were telling me that one of their friends he's got picked up by ICE, and
Oh, wow.
yeah, so they left the well. Of course, they didn't. Their mother, the wife, and the child. I think he said he had a child. So they were like, most of them don't work, and they are not, since they weren't there, so
Hmm.
they don't know what happened to him, and and then they don't know what's going to happen with them. So I said, well, I got a tool house back in the back, so if push come to shove, you know,
Got a place for him?
yeah, I got someplace. I got put, keep while they get their affairs taken care of.
Hmm.
I said, I was telling my daughter, I said, well, I got like an underground railroad 20, 20, 2025. I said, no, it's just normally they don't have any income coming in.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's much like Ethiopia. I have one of my uh, workers does working on my website. So doing the graphics,
Okay.
over there, and she didn't have a job, so I think a job had uh, ceased to exist. You know, so I had my wife give instructions on how, I'll send her stuff for my website, building it.
Hmm.
So and told her to give her some money up front so that she can have some money. That's the way Muslims do, man. You know.
The way
Uh,
Muslims are supposed to do.
yeah. Yeah,
Assalamu
these people.
alaikum.
Walaikum assalam rahmatullah.
Martha Nyla here.
Hey, Martha, how you doing?
Alhamdulillah. Praise be to Allah.
That's
Taking
right.
a relaxed moment.
Yeah. I think everybody, from what I'm picking up, everybody's like taking a week off for Thanksgiving.
A week? Who are they?
A week, man. Uh,
Who are they?
my my daughter, she deals with medical equipment and medical, I guess medicine really from this pharmaceutical, and they just usually have they communicate over the computer, so they decided to take the whole week off. So
Mm,
I said,
mm.
oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I,
my son pretty much does the same thing Thanksgiving week
I,
every year.
hmm
So his class is on Monday. He told them last week that he was going to have a flat on Monday, so he wouldn't
uh-huh.
be able to come in and lecture. And
hmm
Tuesday he gave an assignment. He does this every year. He gave an assignment that basically he doesn't need to be in the classroom. The TA
Yeah. hmm
can just sit there and monitor the class, make sure they don't kill each other. And then, Wednesday nobody's on campus. That's a travel day.
Oh
They
no,
get home for
no, that's
Thanksgiving,
right.
so you know they don't come
hmm
back till next week. So he's got this entire
Yeah,
basically he's got the entire upcoming week off.
yeah. Well, I used to do that. I used to that whole week was gone. So my last class was on Thursday.
Hmm.
Uh, so after Thursday afternoon, I'm headed someplace overseas. You know,
Okay.
so I plan those things out. Christmas and New Year's, Thanksgiving. You know, so you might see me anywhere.
That's nice. Yeah, my son he's 38 years old, and we have been on him like really since he was in the mid 20s
Hmm.
to get his passport.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
he's never, he's always been like, no, I don't want to go anywhere and get blown up. So he's never really wanted to travel outside the United
Hey,
States.
hey,
But he's
tell
finally
him
getting
no.
his passport.
Listen, tell him no. Go to North Philly, okay?
Okay.
Oh boy, I tell you, man. Our people, our people, something else, man. Listen, if they set a firecracker off in Azerbaijan in the Turkish community at 1:30 at night, a firecracker, they'll have that all over the world news as a
Oh,
big
of course.
bomb
Yeah.
blew up,
Mm.
and stay away from Africa, stay away from Burkina Faso, they're warring. Well, there was look, let me tell you something. Like in Ethiopia, in the south and the north, it's all tribalism, man. You talking about uh, carrying out the vendettas and stuff because 4 cows was taken by this particular group or a tribe, and then it's a tribal war for 10 years, man. And nobody knows why they're doing what they're doing.
Right.
Just
They
like
just know they're supposed to be
just
doing
like
it.
the yeah, that's it. My father, my grandfather, my great great grandfather. That's why I believe this.
Right. It's
Even though they
Friday.
were
Right. They say it's Friday, so I need to go. It's my day to throw a headless chicken over the fence into their yard.
exactly. Yeah. But that's the big problem in Africa, man. Like in Sudan,
Hmm.
I had one of my best friends from South Sudan, man. We played basketball together when we were over in Saudi Arabia. Oh man, he was tough, and uh, I was dealing. I mean, we played against the U.S. Army squad and the Philippine squad,
Okay.
and man, oh man, that I and all of my and then see, I had me opportunity to work out every day, so my shooting eye came back, and we was killing them, man. We was killing them. I'm telling you, we was killing them on the court. And I said, I was in my 40s then, you know, and we were putting them away, man. One game after another, one game after another. That was a revival. Uh, sometimes when you graduate from high school or win a state championship, it's always a memory,
Of course.
Hmm.
until we got to till we got to the base, and we had the facilities, and every day I'm out there practicing weight room, lifting, and then here comes a squad. These I think they were they were, yeah, the guys were maintenance people for the Black Hawk helicopters, and I was in charge of building the facility for them to work to do their work when the Black Hawks come in.
Okay.
So so I'm there all the time. So it was good. It was a good situation, man. It was a good
That's
situation.
yeah. The life you've led sounds like a very, very interesting life from a lot of different
Yeah.
aspects. So
Oh yeah, yeah. It was nice, man. It was good.
Welcome,
And
Imam
I met
Adam,
like,
Bia, Imam Omar,
yeah,
Mohammed. Assalamu alaikum to you both.
alaykum assalam.
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum assalam.
We're at 15 after. We'll probably have a couple of, yeah, as soon as I thought of his name, here he comes. Imam Talib. Oh, so we're about to formally open this morning, but as we do, I want to mention everyone and ask everyone to please make dua for the family of Imam Tariq Abdul Mukmeen. His niece passed. He is traveling this morning. He's with us. He's listening, but he's
Okay.
traveling
Okay.
probably in Mississippi. I didn't ask him to his niece's going away celebration,
Alhamdulillah.
and so we want to be with him. You know that he was able to travel safely there and back, and with his family.
Alhamdulillah. Ameen.
Assalamu alaikum, Imam Talib.
Assalamu alaikum rahmatullah. Alhamdulillah.
Assalamu alaikum.
And my condolences to the Imam for the loss of his niece.
Ameen.
Ameen.
We had a dear sister here, a transition, long time action person from temple number 47 on into 75 with Imam W.D. Mohammed, rahimahullah, like Victoria Abdullah Mukman. Her husband transitioned 2 years ago, and their daughter transitioned earlier this year,
Oh,
their oldest daughter.
okay.
Imam Adam, will you open this up formally this morning?
Yes, I can. Alhamdulillah. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين.
Ameen.
All right. So I tried again this past week to get a hold of Dr. Ali, both by email and by phone. Again, the number that I have for him, which is into the medical practice. I have not heard back from him yet. Still holding out hope that I will. I did invite him to this morning's meeting as well, see if we might be able to touch base with him. So, but nothing yet. And so, I mean, we move on. You know, wait for hopefully for some response from that.
Question. Assalamu alaikum.
Like,
Alaykum assalam.
I did I miss, it was the third Saturday? Did we meet?
No, you didn't get my text. I did answer.
Oh, I didn't
your
get it.
text
Okay.
No, we haven't scheduled it. We haven't been able to schedule it.
Oh,
So,
okay.
yeah. So as of yet, you've missed nothing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alhamdulillah.
Yeah. That's where we are with that. And I mean, outside of that, I don't have any other updates. I mean, nothing else happened of any significance this week in banking world, credit union world. I think Imam Talib, you posted something, and it may have been actually before last Sunday's meeting relating to personal finance, some article that you had come across about personal finance. You remember what that may have been? I might be able to pull it up since I usually
Yeah,
save the stuff that you send.
yeah. I'm always I'm looking. I'm actually looking for it now. Um, I know I did find another article that I sent to myself last night, um, talking about people going into debt. I have a new piece of ammunition to share with those that I'm trying to help put their final affairs in order. But somewhere in the neighborhood of 37 to 39% of families are going into mostly credit card debt for funerals and burials.
Mm.
Mm.
No. So I haven't had a chance to read the entire article, but when I think about it, it kind of goes hand in hand with all of the other issues that we seem to carry uh, along, along with our debt or refusing to act on the information that we do get about pre-planning, and being prepared, for these occurrences. Um, and the interesting thing is, we pretty much prepare for everything, we prepare for everything else. But it seems that funeral and burial arrangements, I mean, first of all, statistically, um, 65% of people die without any arrangements. So now to learn that almost 40% of them, and I don't want to give the worst case scenario, but 37 to 38%, of those, 65%, their families end up going into debt, not the deceased.
Mm.
Deceased in good shape. He don't have to worry. He or she no longer has to worry about debt. But the families are going into debt, and most of it is credit card, and I can almost assure you that it's credit card debt that is that's not associated with any low or 0%. So whatever the rate is on the card or cards that family members are using in order to repay this debt is putting them in a hole. And imagine that you've already one of your family members or more may have already dug themselves a hole for a long hospital stay that the typical medical insurance or Affordable Care Act or whatever you want to call it doesn't cover all of the expenses. And for those of you who have never experienced a long hospitalization, you don't. My experience with my daughter was the bills kept coming. So she may have had her hospital stay, let's just say in November, but I would look up in between November and maybe the following November, I may receive 5, 6, 7 additional bills for additional charges. Oh, we didn't charge you for this doctor who was in the room. Well, what did that doctor do? He was in the room. Well, I'm not paying for somebody just to be observing. But let me, I didn't see it in a recent text, so it may have
I
been.
didn't find it either. So there's another place I was going to look, but I also was going to throw something in because this has happened twice in my extended family. 2 cousins passing over the last 5 years, and one of them not having what I would consider adequate life insurance, the other cousin having no life insurance whatsoever. And in both cases, they use the same family used the same funeral home. The funeral home extended them the credit at something at around 40% interest, 39.9, whatever interest, to take care of all the arrangements.
Wow.
Wow.
That wasn't a funeral home. That was a
Well,
gangster.
hey, look,
I was about to say a
Gangster
loan
movie.
funeral
shark.
homes,
Dead loan shark.
funeral homes are financial institutions.
Yeah.
They sell insurance for burial, insurance to cover the plot, the land where you're going to be put in the ground, the casket, or what's that other thing where they burn the body? The incinerator. I mean, they will sell you any and all of that,
All that you need.
and all the arrangements, and finance the flowers, and they'll finance somebody to come sing at the funeral.
and release doves.
Right, all of that, man.
Doves
Don't
and
laugh.
balloons.
Don't laugh. Don't laugh. All of that's real.
Yes, sir.
And see that
All of that's real.
that's the problem is then your life is a sham anyway.
Mhm.
When you die, you got to keep up appearances.
Yes, sir.
Then you got to finance the sham
Yeah.
when you die, which is a sham. You just can't put them in a plain box. You know, the Christians come to our funeral, and Muslim bury, and they say, "Oh no, don't take me out like that." They got to have the song and the dance and the production, and the funeral director, he happy. Now, when we had one, the guy that's married in Fayetteville now, his family owns a funeral home, and we had a relationship with them. And when we died, they would allow us to take him in there and wash the body and whatever. They know they ain't getting a whole lot of money from us. And I know they're saying, I hope more African Americans become Muslim. We broke. and that, and that's a cause every community should develop janaza process.
Mm-hmm.
Now we own the cemetery. We built a little house on the cemetery. They would wash the body. His brother had that interest, and he's running with that. He's doing a real good job. We can pick him up at the hospital and take him straight to the cemetery, and they can be buried the same day.
Right.
Yeah.
So, that's great. But now that's if everything is local, I think you have no problem with that. And I think the African American community as a whole would be more than happy to adopt that practice, especially with tough economic times.
Mm-hmm.
But in a lot of our cases, like when my auntie died, we waited 10 days for everybody from across the country to have a chance to travel. to
Yeah, I
be
know,
there.
but we don't do that.
I know we don't do that, but I'm talking about us taking what we know is the right thing to do and offering it to the broader community,
Hmm.
right? And I think we should offer it to the broader community as an alternative. And this is, I mean, this should just be done through, I don't know, community meetings, and however we have to do
Exactly.
it to let them know, hey, here's a better way that's not going to burden those who are living, but also gives the actual proper reference to your relative, your friend, whatever who has transitioned.
Right.
And I think, I really truly think we're going to have some converts at least to that practice.
Mm. Yeah.
They
What?
not they may not turn around and say amen that day. They're gonna
Yeah,
come looking for you pretty soon thereafter.
Edward, does TikTok have live?
Yeah, I
If they
think
ever
so.
come down with TikTok live, we can do
Yeah,
that.
TikTok. I think TikTok does have a live
All right,
thing that you can do.
then we can do it. Tell them they catch TikTok live, they can go to catch the funeral.
Mm.
Don't have to fly. Don't have to
Don't have to go nowhere.
do all
They already hanging out on there anyway. So
that.
Hey, it just gets better and better.
Mhm.
But
The
I do think too though that as a part of, and I know Imam Tyler touches on this, but I don't know if we've been as direct on final expense planning and when you actually should be thinking about starting to do that. And I know it's a hard conversation, but the early start on it is a much less expensive conversation. If you're
yeah.
buying life insurance and stuff on your children at the earliest age that you're allowed to purchase life insurance on, then we're talking very inexpensive final cost, to the family for final rights for any individual. And that insurance is purchased when they're whatever, 7 years old, whatever the case may be. That cost doesn't change their entire life, and ownership of that policy can be transferred to them at any time.
Right. Right.
Once they reach a certain age. I mean, I think maybe got to be 14 or 15 or something like that. But
Right.
at that
Right.
point, it can be transferred to them. So whatever that is, 50,000, 100,000, that's like $8 a month or less. They can carry that with them their entire life.
Mhm. Right. Right. I
So,
got two I've got two $30,000 policies that I got um started started off with both of my children, and I think it may trying to remember what it is I pay for both of them. It'll it, it'll come to me, but I did find that last article
okay.
that I sent to us. Um, it was it caught my attention because the larger financial institutions are now starting to do what we've been doing and we've been talking about and doing for the last 2-3 years. It was article that was entitled "Half of Gen Z Lacks Key Financial Knowledge.
Yeah.
Here's who is stepping in." And so, and let me see, I sent that. When did I send that? Sent that Saturday, November the 16th.
Okay.
And let me just look. Adam, Edward, Imam Tariq, Martha, Omar, Rabbani, and Sister Khalida. So everybody here now got it.
Yeah, I remember seeing it. I don't know what I did with it. I thought I stuck it under in file under your name, but I didn't see it.
Now, just as a reminder to myself, what is Gen Z considered? What is, because they got X and
Yeah, Gen Z probably runs now from people, what I think maybe around age 19 to 29 or 30, somewhere in there.
okay.
That's Generation Z. It's those individuals basically, they may be a little bit younger, maybe 27 or 28, but those individuals who were born, I want to say after 1997,
Yeah.
97, 98, those who were born either that year or after, up until 2010, maybe, or 2015, I think, maybe 2015. I don't remember exactly. I have a 24-year-old Gen Z son. That's all I can tell you.
Okay.
And he is definitely different than my millennial age son.
Okay.
It's around 97 to 2012 is what it is.
Okay, 2012. Okay.
Okay.
So, yeah.
All right. Well, that's the generation they're talking about, and a lot of the larger institutions now are starting to offer financial literacy courses. And what was most interesting, and I may be quoting the numbers wrong, but if I remember correctly, there are approximately 30 states across the country that are now offering that as a requirement of graduation, that you've got to take these financial literacy courses.
Mhm.
In other words, you got to go to class and learn about these things, which I think is good. The only drawback to it is they need to start earlier than that.
Yes.
Because I mean, and I'm only saying it because when I was discussing it with my wife, the thought came to me in the mid 60s when I entered middle school, might have been like 1964, somewhere in there. Every year in the 7th, 8th, and 9th grade, I had what is called a life skills class. And it taught me about writing a simple lease, writing a check, savings. In fact, our middle school even had a what do they call them things? A passbook.
Christmas club.
Yeah, Christmas
Yeah.
club, passbook savings.
Right. Yeah, I remember that.
I mean, so, and what I was saying to her was, those simple classes that I had, it's carried me through my entire life.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, all I did was build on that.
Yeah.
And I mean, even when we started our business, I didn't have a cash register. I started off with a journal book that I still, if I don't have it, the Smithsonian may have it. but I started off with a journal book that lists the date, the name of the customer, and the amount of money that we made that particular day.
Yeah.
I mean, that's, so what, I didn't even have a shoebox. I mean,
my granddad had a ledger. My granddad had a ledger and a big coffee can that he kept
Okay.
money and change in or for transactions.
Okay.
So, he raised cash crops. And so when anybody came by and got a pound of this, bushel of that, whatever, he'd make his notations in his book and exchange money with them. And I think he did that his entire life. I don't think he ever changed.
Right. Right. Yep.
I noticed something.
So, I mean,
I could walk outside of my office around the shopping plaza.
Mhm.
And if I look down on the ground, by the time I make that circuit, I would have
How
over
much
50
you
cents.
got? That's right.
Have a cup of coffee, have enough for a coffee.
Where are you getting that coffee at?
Well, there's a couple of places. I think it's, what is it, McDonald's at 6 o'clock in the morning if you're over 65.
Okay, all right.
50 cents.
Now, I know when I was young, I could do a lot with that 50 cents.
Right. That's right.
But now
I used to,
that's why it's on the ground.
where I work out, when I do my walks, it was about, I guess about 3.5 miles, right? And just about every day, I come back with a pocket full of money.
Right.
Every day. One time, there was so much money at the medial strip. Somebody just, I don't know, they must have just threw the money out. But I had, man, listen, I had quarters, nickels, dimes, and I was just at that medial strip for, I don't know, 3, 4, 5 minutes at a time because I had watched the traffic, of course. But and I saw a brother come out of a gas station. He bought something at the desk, and he had some change. He just threw it on the ground. I just waited until he left. I was waiting. Yeah. and I was like a chicken getting corn off the floor. Now that was about maybe 70 cents in change. Man, I said, and I keep that. I have a special location for my travel money. All right. Any loose like $1 bills or some change, I put it in that bowl. By the time I get ready to go overseas, man, I have $700-800, man, in it. I said, look at this.
Yeah.
And that's in
It's
between
amazing.
maybe 6-7 months,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. That is an amazing thing. So what do you think about the idea of promoting things like Ramadan Savings Club and stuff like that in masjids? As we travel around and do these educational seminars.
A Hajj savings club.
Well, I mean,
Yeah,
whatever.
tied into the zakat.
Oh yeah, okay.
Tied into the zakat.
Well,
tied into the zakat.
Can you, with the kids, the communities that have the strong end schools, can we tie it in with the children that are part of the strong end schools?
Saving in zakat.
Yeah, financial education part of that for them.
Yeah, of course.
Think we could sell that?
Oh, it should be.
Is that too secular? Is that too secular, or is that something we should be doing?
Yeah, that's why I call I guess when the man that comes around that want to pick up his rent, ask him, oh, that's too secular. That's too secular. You got something spiritual? Yeah. I got something spiritual for you. Mm-hmm.
So,
Mm-hmm.
so I did find
boy.
I've got two $30,000 policies that I took out on my children, I guess close to 3 years ago now. And I'm paying like $40 a month for both of them.
Okay.
So
Yeah, that's no money. No money
it
whatsoever.
works out. Yeah, it works out somewhere in the neighborhood of my daughter. I'm paying about $220, and my son I'm paying about $270
Okay.
a year.
Right.
Yeah, and they only bill me, every year. And the plan is, the plan is to turn it, over to them, especially my son. And I'm following something that my parents did for me. I didn't even know about it. And the situation and circumstances were different because my parents took out insurance, two different insurance policies on me because they didn't think I was going to live long. And they wanted to make sure that they had enough money to bury me. And in my mother's case, she wanted enough to bury me and have a little left over.
She was doing all her future financial planning was wrapped around you.
Look, she took out a $100,000 policy.
Yeah.
Some kind of term policy she took out that.
Well, think about this though. We don't have to go back too many generations to where, and I don't know where you were in the pecking order as far as oldest son, middle son,
Yeah, I was firstborn.
only son. Okay.
Yeah.
So it fell on the firstborn son that if the parents aged, that firstborn son was going to take care of them.
Right.
Somehow, some way, they move in with him, or he makes sure that they have running by there every day to make sure they have everything they need.
Yep.
And that type of thing, right? I mean, that's just tradition. Or
okay. Well, that happened.
Tradition, yeah.
That happened on the real. Yep. And
hey, Tyler, were they running any more bets on that time?
No.
Okay, because if they had.
Oh, they turned the policy over to me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they turned the policy over to me when as my mother would tell her friends, he's changed since he became a Muslim.
Muslim.
I was a Muslim.
That's the greatest compliment you could have had.
Oh,
yeah,
man.
brother.
And look,
brother.
And I took care of both of them the last 10 to 12 years of their life.
Alhamdulillah.
And it was a joy. It was a joy for both of them.
Mm-hmm.
I'd come up to the house and my mother would be on the phone with one of her girlfriends, and she would I gotta go. My son is here. Or she was quick to tell them, and in fact, when my wife and I bought this house, we purposely bought the house because it was less than a 10-minute bus ride to their house. So if I had to get to them it would be easier. And my wife, because she's from a larger than life family, that many of them grew up in the same house, like these 3-level apartments that were all occupied by family members. So
Okay.
it was nothing. It was nothing for her, even though she wasn't in Providence, she was here in D.C., was to do her best to remain around family. So
Hmm.
and I've never been more thankful, for even suggesting that, and
Hmm.
and all of us, all of us were close. So but they, my family thought I was going to be the last one, to take care of my parents,
Yeah,
but
exactly.
yeah, but it was an obligation, you know, and you're right. My mother may have decided to take out that $100,000 policy, not just to cover the burial, but to help herself, because now, like you said, Edward, she had lost her firstborn. So, I was the oldest,
Right.
so, uh, but yeah, that was a wonderful experience, because those policies they took out in the mid 70s. By the time they handed them over to me in the late 80s, maybe mid to late 80s, both of them had some cash surrender value on it.
Right. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
and it was very much appreciated. And the policy,
Yeah.
in fact, the policy that my father gave me, is through MetLife. I still pay the premiums every year, $172 every year. So I mean, that's and my family is going to be the beneficiaries of that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
That
So
is, yeah. I mean, that's something that people need to have explained to them. I mean, especially younger couples, when
yep,
they're starting to have children.
yep,
So the way I was just thinking about this, because it's been a couple of decades since I was really close to the insurance industry, but I still just remember so much of what we were taught about it and how to use insurance policies and estate planning and family planning, business planning, and stuff like that. So I remember the thing that we were taught when we were talking to younger couples, and that is when they would get insurance. Wife is always going to get insurance on the husband. I mean, especially if they don't have children, you know. But to buy, when you get the insurance on the parent, is that you buy what's called riders, RIDERS, on the children. And the riders, the base value of the riders can be all the way up to, so if you get a $500,000 policy on the father, you could get riders up to that amount, or at least you could, on the child or children. And it would literally be $25 to $27 a year for that amount, as long as it was a rider. And you had a schedule in the contract that showed every year's progression if you wanted to convert that rider to an actual policy for the child. So say they reach 14 or 15 years old, it would show you at this age, if you convert this into a policy on your child, it would be this much a month or whatever. And you didn't have to do it, of course. You could just continue to have the rider on there until they were an adult, depending on the state. They fall off at 18 and they fall off at 21 because they're no longer a child. You know, they need to get their own insurance if they don't have any. But those are little things, small things that can sometimes in a family's financial trajectory can make, I mean, it can matter. But we don't, I mean, that's the thing. I mean, I haven't thought about it. Like I said, my youngest son's 24. I haven't thought about stuff like that for 15 years. Until this conversation. It's just not something that we walk around and it's in our head.
No,
But it's definitely something that young couples and so should think about, should be made aware of.
Yep. Well, that's a conversation that needs to be had surrounding the whole idea of building generational wealth. Because from what I've seen, that's how you do it. I've seen several posts. I don't know what genre they fall under, but I've seen several posts on how many of the people who we consider to be, walking amongst the super rich, how they built their wealth by acting as their own bank. With these with these various high-end policies, and they were high-end because they could afford the premiums. But these high-end policies that would build cash value, and whenever one of the family members wanted to take out some money from that from the surrender value, it would be like a meeting to know where that money was going to be invested that would build more money.
Right.
But they wouldn't have to go to the bank seeking terms. They had these, I guess they're like evergreen policies.
They're single pay life insurance policies for the most part.
What you call them? Single pay?
They're single pay. So
Okay.
let's say that you have a son, well-educated son in the family business, whatever the case may be. He's now 30, 35 years old, which the insurance on a 30 to 35-year-old with a life expectancy into the 70s is very inexpensive. So you decide insurable interest on him, his future earnings. Let's I'll just throw $100,000 out there, which is a small amount, but we're just using this as an example. $100,000 a year over 30 years. $3 million. So at minimum, his insurable interest of what he can earn for the rest of his life if his income doesn't go up at all per year is $3 million. That's his insurable interest.
Right.
Well, at that age, you could get $3 million worth of life insurance on him. And I'm going to throw a number out that's probably close. May not be exact, but it's probably close. Somewhere in the $750,000 to $800,000 range. Write that one check, you have $3 million worth of insurance. And like you're saying, Imam Talib, let's say that number was $800,000. Well, the internal interest, which comes from an annuity, basically, that's a MetLife or New York Life or Prudential, so on and so forth, they're probably paying a little over 4%, somewhere tied to United States Treasury rates on that. So it's growing. Your cash value is growing every year by a minimum that, probably more than that, because they're invested in real estate and everything else. but at minimum, your cash value is growing somewhere around 4%.
Right.
You can
Right.
go take that cash money, whatever it's accumulated to, out of your policy, as you said. There's no negotiation. You just ask for the money, they send you the
Right.
money.
That's right.
You never have to pay it back.
Right.
So let's just say, for sake of argument, you got the $3 million policy, that stayed static. You pull $1.5 million out today
Mhm.
to go put into an investment you make a heck of a lot more than 4% on.
Right.
You still got $1.5 million
Right.
of insurance that's going to pay out if you happen to pass away at any
Yeah.
time.
That's right. That's right. Yep. And
And
that,
they do that repeatedly in many different ways, because you can also create a trust, and you can put insurance inside the trust using the same insurability reason to insure argument in the trust,
right.
say to take care of my kid's education if something happens to me, take care of estate taxes if something happens to me, so on and so forth, and run the same routine through multiple trusts.
Right. Right.
And they do
Yep.
that all the time.
Yep. And imagine now you were given the example of one person.
Mhm.
Imagine a family of 4,
Right.
5
Yeah.
that were all doing the same thing.
Yep.
Okay. So you talking about being able to take out $1.5 million. Well, if you got 4 or 5 family members, now you're talking
Yeah.
about being able to take out 5, 6, 7 million.
Right.
To do what? To buy a building
Exactly.
to buy an office building somewhere or a hotel that I just read about. They purchased at like a 70, 75% discount. Yeah. Man.
That sounds like Cash Patel and his people.
Well, I mean, it sounds like It sounds like the Rockefellers. It
Yeah.
Well,
sounds like
they mentioned
the Mellons. The
yeah,
Mellons.
those are the people that they mentioned. Those are the people that they mentioned how they did that. One poster even had the number of family members who were part of this process. They never had to go to a bank to borrow.
Mm.
And what I want to see us starting to do is to talk about these things in the context of what it is that you can do with your family at the level
Mm-hmm.
where you are.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Because it's also available to you. I mean, my wife and I are not Jay-Z and Beyonce, but I'm almost sure to a certainty that some of the same financial instruments that they have, we have. Now, I don't do stocks because I don't understand stocks. But that I do understand, I follow through on. Or when you give me something to that I can wrap my head around, I'm going to exercise it.
Let me ask you a question, Imam Talib.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever had all of your business interests actually a valuation of what your business is worth?
I have not. No,
Okay.
I have not.
If you do that, I mean, go to a CPA firm that actually does valuations. They don't all do valuations, but
Okay.
you can typically, somewhere around Virginia, Maryland, DC, there's going to be a CPA firm that does valuations,
Oh, I'm
or
sure.
they're
Yeah,
going to
it
point
is.
you to an organization that they trust to do valuations, right?
Mhm.
And your bank may have some people that they trust to do business valuations. So if you do a business valuation on your company or companies, they give you you're going to get a number, and you and your wife are going to own 100% of whatever that valuation is, because you're the two business owners, stockholders.
Right.
So you're a private company.
Mm-hmm.
The only difference between you and General Motors is that General Motors sells that 100% interest
Mm-hmm.
to the general public and other institutions
Right.
as a means of getting operating capital or just having money to do other things.
Right.
That's stock ownership. That's all it is.
Right.
It's owning a percentage of any company at any time. Now it gets really complicated and intricate because of all the technical accounting techniques that are allowed
Right.
in corporate America, not just in America, but all around the world. And Adam
Right.
can speak more to some of that stuff, you know, of having a head to understand the tricks that they're playing with money.
Right.
That I would say is probably what keeps a lot of people away from what they call the game of the
Yeah.
stock market, right?
Right.
Because they do play tricks with money,
Yes.
right? They do.
Yes. I mean, I do it on a smaller scale. I mean, it is a game, and but where we are with our community, the majority of us in our community, we have to continue with this Graceline process, helping these people take baby steps to get there, because the knowledge that we have about financing, it just didn't come to us overnight. This was
No, definitely
this
not.
was through trial and error, and in your case, Edward, I mean, you were directly into the industry.
Dude, I got dropped straight into the frying pan, and I was so. This was my sophomore year of college when I actually started taking, you know, these basic accounting classes. I mean, really and truly, they were basic accounting classes and basic statistics classes. And, you know, I made good grades in high school. And my freshman year, taking the core curriculum and all that stuff that you got to get out of the way, I was fine. I thought, you know, I am smart. And then I got dropped into a whole different world where you really got to know what you say you know.
Mhm.
And it's, yeah, that stuff is intimidating to people.
Right.
And, you know, it didn't end there. You know, you get pushed in your professional life, you get pushed into more of this financial stuff because I went that particular route. It's very difficult to learn all of the bells and whistles. And I'm not going to sit here today in my 60s and after 30 years in the financial services industries tell you that I know everything. There's still
Right.
stuff that bewilders me as
Right.
to how they're able to do these things. It's legal and it works, and it means absolutely nothing when you see the number on the page.
Right. Right. So would anyone be surprised to learn that I took out an insurance policy in the mid 80s. My wife and I took it out, $500,000 each. And it wasn't until 10, maybe 15 years later, sometime in the mid to late 90s, that I learned that insurance policy had a cash surrender value. And I didn't learn it until I switched over with a financial planner who was a friend of the family. But I didn't know anything about cash surrender value or even how it was used. Now, the agent that sold it to me, he did tell me about it, but I was in a mode of making money. I wasn't in a mode of trying to learn about, I thought I knew everything there was to know about money. Because by that time, I mean, I had been I had been in business 12, 13 years. Wasn't too much, I thought you were going to be able to tell me, but I did listen. But it was that span of time that I didn't know what it was I had. And those are the things that I'm expressing to us we need to keep in mind when we're talking to a population that may only have an insurance policy through their job. There's certain professions. I know bus drivers are amongst them. Usually union workers. When you start working on the job, part of the benefit that the union will always remind you is that everybody has at least a $5,000 insurance policy. All right. And that's about the only insurance that most people had. I'm surprised when I ask people about, their insurance policies that they don't have them. That, or maybe only one person in the household has it, but not the other. So we're going to have to build this financial learning, with people, by taking, baby steps to show them the benefit and give them the understanding, particularly since we're talking about insurance, that you need to be fully prepared to always make the payment. So there are going to be certain things that you can't do because you don't want to look up and be carrying an insurance policy for 3, 4, 5 years, and then you go lapse on the premiums. Now, Edward, you correct me if I'm wrong, but aren't there some insurance instruments that you can get that when you pay up to so much, you can stop paying the premiums for a while?
Well, the whole idea of permanent life insurance or whole life insurance, as some people call it, is that after a certain number of years, you no longer pay premiums. That they're called paid up life insurance policy. It depends largely on how old you were when you started and all that kind of stuff, how many years you'll actually pay premiums.
Okay.
But you also have an option in a lot of these insurance policies, just like if we were talking about borrowing money. So that term is actually wrong, is if you're not borrowing money, the money is yours. You have cash value.
Mm-hmm.
But taking money out of your life insurance policy, you can flip that around. There are two other options that you have. Number one is whatever the money that's earned every year in one of those policies, you can have that plus those companies that are stock companies, like New York Life, that give you a dividend every year.
Mm-hmm.
You can use that to buy additional insurance every year. Chunk paid up
Right.
insurance.
Right.
You can also take that same money and have that same money start paying premiums for you. So at some point in time, the cash value you have in there becomes the premium payment. And you have no more out-of-pocket premium payment.
Right.
It pays it.
Right.
So,
Okay.
and it will pay it and dissipate it down to a certain number, and then it flattens out. Let's say, for example, you have a $500,000 policy like the one that you were talking about. Well, if you're planning your life correctly, there comes a point in time around retirement that maybe you have Social Security, you have 401k, you have personal savings and investments that you have accumulated, that the life insurance policy, what it was to cover was if something happened to you along that pathway of building all that. So you don't need all that life insurance. Your wife may argue with you, but
Yeah.
realistically, what you've done in your other part of your life has replaced the need
Right.
for all of that life insurance. So
That's
there
right.
was no reason for you at a certain age to continue paying premiums. So the cash out when it comes to death starts to drop every year because you really no
Right.
longer putting any premiums in.
Right. Right.
And
Right.
it'll bottom out, say, whatever number you want, 50,000, 80,000, 100,000, whatever the case may be that you want it to level off at. It'll stop there. You have paid up policy at that level, but you hadn't paid premiums in maybe 15 years.
Right. Right. Okay.
So different companies write their contracts differently. So whichever company that a person's dealing with needs to understand what that insurance company's capabilities are.
Right.
Right. Some of them manage money better than others. And they pass that along to people who become their customers as a way of attracting, believe it or not, attracting a certain kind of policyholder.
Okay.
So some of these insurance companies will reject people. You're not in a high enough income bracket, your profession, your credit history says we can't write you a policy. We don't consider you insurable based on our policies. And I've had several friends and family members ask me directly, then how can they do this? How can they reject it? I mean, I got a job, I pay my bills, but they told me I'm not insurable. What does that mean? I'm in good health. It's other factors.
Right. Right.
Can I read something? I went to the IWDM study library and I typed in insurance. And Imam was asked a question about family insurances, and he gave this response, if y'all don't mind. It says, our goal is community responsibility for all of the needs we find in community life. Some group, business, or ethnic, and I'm not sure who transcribed this, but it wasn't clear, but always has to be responsible for these needs. God obligates us to be no less responsible for community life than anybody else He has created on this earth. In fact, Muslims ought to be in the forefront of every good effort. If we understand the last revelation, we follow the example of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. We should be trying to create financial institutions, which includes health insurance. And I am not totally against what is called life insurance, except what the person buying the life insurance is preparing for death, right? If the person is looking for financial benefit for himself and financial protection for the future of the children, I don't see anything wrong with life insurance. The term life insurance is really death insurance. The language is horrible and hard to accept. Or I'm going to buy me some burial insurance. So you're thinking of death all the time. That is what I don't like. Something to me tells me we should not think that way and accept that kind of language. It has about half a page here. I'm going to read that. I don't have any problem at all with the idea of health insurance. The problem we have is no way except to go to institutions other than our own for health insurance. I do not know of any insurance company that is a situation for making executive level staff and workers very wealthy. Much of the income is going to them. While we cannot deny them that right, we are becoming wealthy and our community is hurting. They are becoming wealthy and our community is hurting. If we know this and we are not of that mind, and we do not believe we should become wealthy on the backs of the financially doomed poor, then we should try to satisfy these needs in our community as much as possible or in our power. Yeah, that's about it. But I wanted to read that because
what year was that?
1990, it was published in the February 6th, 1998 edition of the Muslim Journal.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he could have said it early.
Oh, I'm not saying he could have said it earlier. Definitely.
Yeah.
This might be a reprint or something else.
Right.
I don't know. You're right.
Right. That's right.
But I'm saying that because I've heard a lot of things attributed to what the man supposedly said about insurance.
Mm-hmm.
And the anti-insurance people are always referring to something they claim they heard the imam say.
Right.
And therefore, and those that don't get it right hesitate because they think they're doing something wrong.
Right.
Right.
That's
Yeah. I think we, even as a part of Graceline, I think we've actually had individuals over the last 4 or 5 years come on and speak somewhat negatively or hesitant about life insurance.
Right.
Yep.
Right.
Yep. Wow.
But it's clear. It's clear. I mean, look at what was happening to our community before we were rescued by the federal government, supposedly. Everybody growing up, especially if you're of our age, back in the day when we were 8, 9, 10, or maybe younger than that or whatever, especially in the segregated South, what white man always came in our community?
Insurance.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Sam Pastor.
He had the free pass. He was out the only Caucasian that can come in our community, and everybody welcomed him.
Every week.
Every week.
Yes, sir. Knocked on the door. Parents had him come in, sit down in the living room.
Like he was part of the family.
And I don't know what but they gave him a little bit of money that he put in a little envelope.
Yep.
And I was born and raised in Washington, D.C. That's why I keep telling these Negroes here, we live in the South.
Well, you know, Malcolm called it right, brother.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Sam Pastor, that was his name. Yep, he sold my mother and father all kinds of insurance. Yep, and I think his son may have taken over his business.
Why not?
Yep, but he was with MetLife. Yep, every week he come knocking at the door. Man, oh man. Yeah, but you're right. I mean, and in fact, I've told you all before, and I'll just remind you, the things that I was doing the things I was doing before I started Avoid a Messy Death was all I did was really take it public when I learned of the deaths of Imam Kazim Ahmed and Imam Vernon Fareed out of Norfolk or Newport News, Virginia.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, it was their deaths that put their family in a pickle.
Right.
Because neither one of them had any sort of plan. There was no will, there was no financial power of attorney, nothing. And the the wives were left to the mercy of the community, collecting money for them so that they could either get back on their feet or stay on their feet. And it was the lack of those having those different sort of instruments that should have sparked many of our communities who are led by imams that are not receiving any sort of monetary compensation.
Mhm.
So they need to, at the very least, some of our smaller communities, they need to make sure that at least the resident, that they have an insurance policy for the resident imam and his family.
Yeah.
So
Believe it or not, the Imam Qasim Ahmed became ill before he passed. He was really ill. And I want to say he was down in Houston
yeah, he was.
when the illness hit him and we all learned about it. His illness and a sudden transition was one of the motivating factors for Graceline. And initially, we had actually considered an insurance company as opposed to a bank or credit union as what the community needed. And it was all built around the fact that his illness and cost, many of us made financial contributions to kind of help that situation out. Just because he had been in Dallas before as the resident imam and was beloved by people in Dallas. So just that whole situation really hit people. I know around here, and I'm sure nationwide, very hard. And the financial situation was such that we were galvanized to start talking about what can we do to make sure that these kind of things don't happen in our community. And at that time, believe it or not, what was in our head was taking care of our moms, like some kind of blanket policy, health and life insurance policy. That we actually talked to. We talked to some people in Presbyterian, the Presbyterian Church USA, and a couple of other different organizations about how they did things, their ministers. Anyway, that I just wanted you guys to know that his illness was a big part of the reason that we're where we are today and trying to accomplish the things that we're doing.
It's just a month.
Yes, I when you mentioned about having paid policies for some years, and I can acknowledge that because taking it for granted as I was working 20 some odd years, and whenever I was in the medical field, the insurance covered, $1 million policies, right? So it was, our health insurance was $1 million coverage. The life insurance, you covered through protective insurance, group insurance, let's put it that way. And so from the 70s, being in the medical field, my children were covered. My husband and I both were covered. Auto insurance, I just made it all one lump thing, just take it out. You don't see it, you don't miss it. You use what you have left net wise. Once I retired, there were many things I had to take into consideration. What do you call it? The investment group Fidelity. Money's there. Your protective life insurance, it was the price to pay too astronomical to keep it once it come out. So needless to say, I kept the life insurance part, but even that I couldn't keep up. So after all these as old as my son was, in his late 40s, all these years of paying into it. Boom. And then when my husband transitioned, well, and even getting married, you find that you have the same mindset, you think, except for when it comes to this particular part. And his words were, I'm not going to pay monies to somebody looking for me to die. And so, needless to say, there was no burial expense account. And that's just part of what you're saying this morning. It didn't. That's part of the conversation to be held when marital wise, but community being with the not just using the leaders or the leadership and using them up and expecting them to go here, go there, do this, do that. And on the other side, they don't have an income, or they have one, but I don't know. I don't want to get into the particulars, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, I do. I mean, that's those are some of the things. I mean, your story alone, you are not alone. There are a whole lot of people in our community, in and outside of our community, that think that way, that they're not going to pay any money in order to finance their own death. I mean, that just and I understand that, that sort of logic, which is why we don't often talk about death, because we think it's going to become a self-fulfilling prophecy.
May I ask a question? And because it's somehow mortgage insurance, that came across too as the words they would say is that mortgage insurance, and the very first sentence is, in the event of your death.
Yes. That's
Right, but that has a lot to do with the individual who is making a presentation to you. Because believe it or not, Imam Talib, I was with MetLife. So when I worked for MetLife, I sold more mortgage insurance and disability insurance than I sold life insurance.
And that's what I had for years, MetLife.
So the Dallas-Fort Worth area was starting to kind of explode, house building and all that stuff when I worked with them here. And it was an easy sell. It's very inexpensive insurance, and it reduces, because the mortgage comes down after a certain number of years. You pay a lot of interest up front, and then your principal amount that you owe starts to come down, and the premiums kind of follow that. So that aspect of it, people really liked that aspect of it, that their premiums were not going to go up. It was something that actually starts to come down in value. But I never talked directly about death. It was there, but I hated mentioning that word for that reason, in that if you said it, you could actually see people pull back within themselves. It's a disturbing topic. I mean, even if you have our teachings about it and the way that we view it, and start thinking about it, once you come into this faith, it's still not something people are very comfortable with. You just have to admit that, and you have to kind of adopt your language into, if anything happens to you, you have to kind of change it around a little bit. If anything happens to you, then there are a couple of different things that we can do to make sure that everything is taken care of. You know, and that's where the disability thing came in too, was, you know, you're 2/3 more likely to become disabled than you are to pass away. So in the case if you're going to be long-term disabled or a certain age, let's take a look at what we need to do to make sure that, you know, you're able to keep everything that you worked so hard on. You know, again, as opposed to talking about death, talking about simply being able to keep these things that you've worked so hard, or let's see how we can do that. And that was kind of the language that I used because I hated to talk about it.
Yeah. And I guess too, professions, I don't know who all self-employed. When you're self-employed, those are things that you have to take into consideration to acquiring insurance and such. And hindsight is 2020 is, what is it? Hindsight is 2020, or what how would it
Yeah,
say?
hindsight is 2020. Yeah.
Yeah, because my husband was in the trucking industry, so everything came right
Mhm.
forefront, and he loved paying things right then, even with the home. But lo and behold, after 20 years in the home, yeah, Wells Fargo came in, their sleazy attorneys, and lied and literally took the home right from under us.
Mm.
Without being the banker for it. I don't know whether they, well, anyway, not to go on, open that door.
Okay. Omar, are you taking good notes? Omar has been here and has been listening and has not said a word.
I am here and I am listening.
Assalamu alaikum,
I am
Omar.
definitely listening.
All right. Just messing with you a little bit. Anywho, well, I mean, number one, that particular Muslim Journal publication, we probably, I think that article needs to go on our website.
Mhm.
I really do.
Mhm.
So where we have to pay for having the rights to place that on our website. That definitely should be there though, because I think that is in our community, that is all people need to be able to read, to understand that they're now liberated. They can ensure their family and their family's future.
Well, I think once we can see if we can get something that's legible to put on the website.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how that works. If anybody has a better copy,
Yeah, because that's just typewritten words, and it's not anything that gives credit to the Muslim Journal other than in the but they
Can you
might
send
have something.
can you send that to us or send it to me? Does it allow you to do that?
Yeah, right now it's just a Word document. You follow me? It's just a Word document.
But you got but you got that from the WDM library?
Yeah, as a Word document.
Okay.
is it attributable to the Muslim Journal on a certain date? I mean,
Only in the heading.
okay.
But I would rather go to Muslim Journal and see if they have a better something to post to the website. You
Okay.
follow?
Right, exactly. I do.
Mhm.
But yeah, I think it'd be good if we were able to get our hands on that and able to put it on the website. The
Right.
most verifiable form of it. I think, yeah, I really truly think that would be good for arguments that we are going to make when those questions are raised.
Right.
Right.
And I'm hoping it's part of a lecture
Mm-hmm.
because I don't whoever transcribed it might have made some errors. One thing, because some of it's not clear, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and I want it to be clear.
Right.
Yeah. One of the things that I'm hoping they catch up on this is because I use ChatGPT a lot. I mean, I can't even remember the last time I went to Google.
Right.
But I want them to start including, I don't know how this happens. So African American publications and, every iteration of the Muslim Journal, dating back to whenever the original, whether it was the Malayan News or whatever it was called back in those days, all of that language should be a part of whatever OpenAI and Anthropic and all these people are using. It shouldn't just be New York Times, Washington Post, 77. Because they're 100% losing a lot of the flavor of what has moved. And I know this country, what has moved this country.
Yeah, I have a brother that I don't know if anybody knows Shahid Wangara out of Chicago. He sent me a text this morning, said he asked ChatGPT a question. Is who would you say is the most influential religious leader of our time in the last 15 years, past and present? Who did more to revive religious concepts from both Bible and Quran, giving a new way of interpreting the symbolic and metaphorical or practical meanings? And y'all can just imagine ChatGPT came back.
You say Billy Graham?
No. You got Imam W.D. Mohammed.
Really?
Yes, sir.
Allahu Akbar.
Wow,
And it said he fits your question more precisely than anyone else.
whoa.
I talked about my ChatGPT was woke.
His ChatGPT is wide awake.
I said, man,
Wide awake.
your ChatGPT is about to take Shahada.
So, okay, Adam, do me a favor.
Yeah.
Send me his question.
Just the question, right?
What he posed, just the question. Because I want to put it into my ChatGPT.
Yes, sir.
I'm using a 5.1 or whatever and see what my response is to see if this is kind of a uniform thing across the hive mind of ChatGPT. Because my ChatGPT now has a name. I named her. So I'm going to see what Midori says. We'll put the question to them.
Okay, I'm see if I can. The only problem with this, I can't copy this thing.
Yeah, it's hard to copy ChatGPT. That's true.
No, he did it in text. And I'm trying to copy this
you
text.
Can't copy it. Oh, okay.
So
Interesting. That is amazing. If that is uniform across ChatGPT, that, of course, his questions, that's an excellent question. His wording of that question is incredible. It's fantastic.
I'm gonna put the question in my chat GPT to see if mine is up to speed on it.
Okay. That is strong, though.
It is.
Man, if that is uniform, that is strong.
While you're doing that, I put in a query, several queries, including Imam W.D. Muhammad's name, and asking AI certain questions as influential in the educational arena, but from the basis of cursive writing and Arabic script, Quranic Arabic script. And it said that it came back saying there was nothing that's been studied or researched to prove that, but based upon Imam W.D. Muhammad's language, logic, that he would definitely be, he's definitely an influencer in that arena as far as education is concerned, that cursive writing lends itself to critical thinking. And because of Imam's thinking, that's how he's influential in that arena.
That sounds like an answer from Gemini. You using Gemini?
No, I just said AI.
No. Well, okay. So AI is a general term, but there are like
Okay.
Adam and I both use ChatGPT. But if you go
Uh-huh.
to Google, if you're a Google,
Yeah, I'm Google.
Google is Gemini. Gemini is their AI.
Okay, thank
that
you.
sounded like an answer from Gemini.
But you gave him a lead by mentioning man's name.
Right. But at
This
least they
one
admitted that there's no research on it.
Well, that's because your AI is behind the curve. It hasn't been a,
Right.
Yeah.
See, everyone in our chat GPT has been woke, so they know what we do.
Well, I think I'm waking it up because I've injected a lot of queries, and
That's
and
good.
they're coming especially to prove to our economic educational system discussion with educators about cursive writing and that being
Yeah.
removed, how it's affected the critical thinking process, number one, and then to go on to Quranic Arabic script, because you go from the right to the left, then you really enhance your thinking application.
It's the wiring. It's actually the wiring of the brain that's affected when you do that. It's like learning a language, any language, and definitely if you're having the right script, it rewires the brain in a particular way. And they attach these electrodes to people's heads, and they have them do these exercises. They can actually watch different parts of the brain light up. To me, it's amazing. I'm sure you guys have already seen it. And every time I see it, it's an amazing thing. Just to see the way our brain is acting, given different stimuli or required to make different decisions and things of that nature. What lights up, what shuts down.
Thank you. Yeah, and I think did everyone see this video? I think a mother shared it with her son. This is quite a while back. Her son had brain damage. He was in the bed, immobilized. But his thinking, they attached wiring to his, like they do the ECGs and EEG, excuse me. And and on the computer screen, as he thought, the words appeared on the screen.
Yeah. Yeah. So Adam, do you have an answer yet?
I'm getting ready to share that question with you.
Okay.
Because I didn't type before a question answer. So the way he asked the question, that got that answer. So hold on, I'm going to text it to you right now.
Oh, wow. Omar says he just emailed the financial freedom flyer as well.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was viewing it. Alhamdulillah.
Yeah, wait a minute. That's what, okay. Mhm. Oh, okay. Um,
While we're looking at it, Edward, I want to say I really appreciate reading your your wordings, your words in reference to the AM 360 inquiry.
Okay. Okay.
At first, when you did the first filling out the form, I said, wait a minute, how did he do that? How did he make the questions right there with the answer? And so I went to my notepad and it came out the same. And I said, okay, I did mine. Now I have to redo it as well and add the other parts.
Yeah, I typed it in. I didn't get that answer. So
Okay.
they might have docked his because he's causing problems. Yeah, I'm gonna thank y'all for participating in the program Thursday.
Oh, that was so much fun.
Yeah, yeah. So
Yeah, I'm telling you, man, Thursday, I mean, Saturday morning's good. I mean, there are a lot of programs on AM 360 that are good. Man, Thursdays have been kicking it lately.
right, right.
Because we had really good programs, myself and Imam Mohammed back to back on Thursday evening. We had
Hmm.
some really good discussions. We got to figure out a way to get more of our under 45 individuals in the community participating.
And I put in ChatGPT to explain these different terms: Gen Z, Gen X,
Hmm.
all these other terms, and it came back with a description of each one and how they respond and how they acquire knowledge and whatever, right?
Hmm.
And this Gen Xers, man, they're a different group.
Now, Gen X
Oh,
is
what that?
they're in their
X or Z?
50s right now, right?
Oh, Gen Z is the
Oh,
current.
Gen Z is like my son. Here's what's funny though. I'm gonna make this is a really quick story. So my son is a University of Maryland and he's in fine arts. That's his major. And his mom teaches at an all boys school in Virginia. The drama teacher or the fine arts, whatever they call her at that particular school, asked her if my son could come help them set up a production of a play that they're doing, an on-campus play that they're doing. So my son said, yeah, sure, I'll come down and help them out. So last week he went to the school and this is the upper school kid starting at like age 14 or 15 through graduation. So I talked to him this past Tuesday, and I said, how did it go at the school? Now, understand, my son's 24. Most of these kids are like say 14 to 16, 17, somewhere in that range. And he said, it was a lot harder than I thought. I go, what do you mean? And you know everything that there is to know about putting on a play, all these different things when you want awards for it and all that kind of stuff. I mean, what could have been the issue? He said, I couldn't understand what they were saying. We don't speak the same language. I said, Taz, you're 24 years old. The youngest of them is 14. You're telling me 10 years age difference? You guys should be basically on the same wavelength. He said, no. He said the words that they use, the phrases that they use, all of that stuff I've never heard before. He said it took me half the day just to understand what they were saying. And I found that very interesting.
Well, this was when I first went to work in New York at Price Waterhouse, right? And I would be in the office and talking with my cohorts and other people. Then on the weekend, I mean, when I wasn't at work on the weekend, I was living back in East Orange, New Jersey, Newark, right? And then every now and then I would slip up and talk like I was talking in the office, and everybody look at me like I'm crazy. That's when I realized I had to be bilingual. I talk one way during the week, and I talk another way on the weekend. So I had to be bilingual. And that's almost like it is right now. You had to learn to be bilingual, talk their language.
Yeah. They call it code switching. They have a name for it called code
okay,
switching.
They do.
Yeah. So here's my answer. I posed the question to Midori, and this is what Midori said. Edward, you're asking a big, thoughtful question, and I'll give you a straight, well-reasoned, forward-looking answer. If we're talking about the last 50 years across global impact, depth of teaching, and the revitalization of scriptural interpretation for practical life, there's one figure who stands out in a unique and compelling way. Imam W.D. Mohammed. She goes on to say, let me explain why, and also name a couple of other major figures for context. But in terms of your question about bridging Bible and Quran symbolism into practical lived meaning, Imam W.D. Mohammed is in a category few leaders occupy. And then she's going to go forward into explanation why Imam W.D. Mohammed is the strongest candidate. Number one, he transformed an entire religious community toward Quran-centered universalism. In 1975, he directed the Nation of Islam into mainstream Islam on an unprecedented scale. No other religious leader in the last half century reoriented such a large community toward Orthodox scripture so quickly and peacefully. Number two, he emphasized the symbolic and the practical simultaneously. He pushed Muslims to understand Quranic and biblical language in a higher, more universal way. Number one, these are bullet points. Adam as the human mind in its early development. Garden as a state of human potential. Resurrection as awakening to moral consciousness. Light as knowledge. And the people of the book as a shared human legacy. His approach revived metaphors, parables, and symbols, not to mystify, but to apply them to personal discipline, community uplift, and civic responsibility. That's a rare gift. Number three, he uniquely bridged Quran and Bible. Most major religious figures speak within their traditions. Imam Muhammad insisted you couldn't understand American life without understanding the Bible. And you couldn't understand the Quran's message without appreciating its continuity with the Bible. That's a global rarity. He built a language for African American Muslims to thrive in Islam without abandoning their cultural experience. He showed how scripture could uplift people dealing with trauma, social injustice, and identity struggle, not abstractly, but in daily life. Then it gets into it lists like 4 people, or she does, who are also could be considered. Obviously, she's made her choice as to who the most significant is, but she also mentions Pope John Paul II, the Dalai Lama, Fethullah Gulen, the Turkish Imam who recently passed. And this one, I don't know, Farid Isak, hermeneutics. I've heard that term before, but I'm not familiar with him. So, Midori loves Imam W.D.
Yeah, that was some of that.
Yeah, that was pretty. All of that told summary is pretty strong.
Yeah, it did, but as I was listening to it, man, some of that, my first thought is what, some of these other people have been saying. That stuff is dangerous, man. And how long did it take to come up with that while we were just sitting here talking?
Well, from the time I put the question in, because I type slow, so from the time I finally got the question in to the GPT putting it out, I would say the GPT had the question answered in under 90 seconds. All of that, plus some stuff I didn't read.
Yeah, well, in other words, when you first started, when I think you said something about you were going to read this paragraph, and when you started talking about
when I started reading, everything was already there. So I waited till it spit out everything, and then I started reading. Yeah, it was quick.
Yeah, it was quick, and I would also tell you that for those that like doing some thorough research, those were like what they call them things, crib notes or something.
Yeah, very much so.
Because it not only gave it, it gave it to you where here's some examples of why I am saying what I'm saying. And when he started using the Imam's language about defining, man and mind and garden and all the rest of it, and the light, and combining both the values of Al-Islam and Christianity into a process that helped the community to understand. Do you know how deep a dive most of us would have to do just to come up with that?
Oh, I know.
Man.
Yeah, well, I'm very much aware of that. That's the beauty that I found of using. Now I use the Chat GPT 99% of the time. I'll go to Anthropic every now and then just to kind of see where they are. That's the one that they call Claude. Have you seen that? So I'll go to Claude every now and then just to see where Claude is. And Claude is good. It's just it's not quite the same. It's more like talking to a computer, where ChatGPT quite scarily in some instances, because there are some issues with it. It's very personal. Like Adam was saying.
You said it's very what?
It's very personal.
Oh, okay.
This Midori is figuring out my personality, not just feeding me answers.
So it's figuring out what it is you want to hear.
Well, not only what I want to hear, it's figuring out who I am. And it now recommends additional study for me.
Well, that's the same. I mean, that's the same thing every one of the media does. Whether you're shopping,
right?
That's the same thing they do. I mean,
exactly.
If I go to one site and shop for some walking shoes, when I go back to another site, they suggest all the walking shoes I might like.
Right.
It's really no difference.
Right.
Now I got something I like to. Well, I found it interesting, and a brother sent me a text, and it says on Instagram, the Islamic takeover of the U.S. And I sent you I'm trying to put it in chat. I mean in the chat here, but I don't have Instagram on my computer. But it's a video. Islamic takeover of the U.S. is underway. Now there are two types that believe that. Will believe that. One are Muslims, right?
Mm-hmm.
The other is MAGA. So I'm saying to myself, even if it's true, why would you, as an imam, send that to other Muslims?
Right.
In that way. And what they talk about is Islamic takeover of the U.S. underway. And they mention all the Muslim mayors and city council and et cetera, that have come in office in the last year. That's MAGA's problem. They think it's a conspiracy. So why would you reinforce that? I'm sure they didn't mean to, but you got to put some kind of thought in that. Why would you send that around? Now they can use your video as proof.
Exactly.
Come on now. So anyway, I sent it to you, Edward. Don't let anybody know I sent it to you, okay?
I will not. We are 100% incognito.
Anybody else want it?
I neither confirm nor deny that I've ever received such.
Send it to me, Imam Adam, please. Rabani, yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just delete it before you get back on the plane.
It's like, Adam, it's like that meme that's going around about Ma'am Johnny's going to make sure that all of the New York schools teach students how to know Arabic news.
As soon as I saw that, I started laughing. Boy, y'all
I know. I did
dumbest
too.
people in the world, boy.
Oh man,
had to be idiots. Because it was called, that's what it was called when I was in elementary school.
Of course it was. Yes.
And then they said we can't quit calling it that because it's drawing too much attention.
Right.
So it was like I had the best band that did a good espresso.
Oh man. So we've had a good time this week. A very good time is had by all. So big Thanksgiving plan for everybody. Right?
No, I agree. David screwed for us. Yes.
Everybody a big Thanksgiving person here.
They have a holiday right now.
Everybody what?
A big Thanksgiving person.
He said it's his favorite roast.
Like family get-togethers for Thanksgiving and.
Well, we all scattered around. That's the problem, But we have a collection here, family that come
8-year.
Build a table, big table, you know, so alhamdulillah, you know.
Good.
Good. That's the perks.
I
of
got,
being-
I got plans for like for the weekend, not necessarily for the actual day,
There's like
Okay.
downtown.
but
I've yet to find a single good coffee place. There was one in.
But yeah, I'm gonna join the fray.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right.
I mean, what's the worst that's gonna happen is I'm gonna overfeed myself.
It's not as good.
That's right.
Yeah,
Oh,
but
man.
you know what's really funny is that it's not typically that one singular meal that gets me. It's the constant grazing that happens after that.
What you call it? You call it grazing?
I call it grazing.
Okay, funny enough, I was at the
Yeah.
people who develop it.
Oh, that looks good.
Yes. Let me have a little bit more of that.
I think I used that term. I used that term when I was teaching. I said somebody asked me about American people, why they're so big. You know, I said because they graze, they don't eat. They looked at me like
Yes, sir.
Too expensive, and the people we know that like.
Oh man.
you know, Edward, you from cattle country, so you know.
Oh, definitely, man. Definitely. And you know, I'm from one of those typical Southern families, like many of you are, that
Yeah.
family meals, it can be Sunday meals, but definitely, you know, things around Thanksgiving, Christmas holidays, different stuff like that. Way too much food is prepared.
Because so
It's overkill. It's way too much.
And she said they're really nice.
Pies, bread, and you know, casseroles, and you know, macaroni and cheese from miles of macaroni and cheese. And, you know what I mean? And some you could have two.
It was the guild.
And my auntie,
You had several dishes.
yeah, my auntie's gonna bring. She's gonna bring more chicken to feed the whole choir. Right? She's gonna bring some fried chicken. She knows the centerpiece is a turkey. She's still gonna bring her fried chicken.
Was Jennifer?
That was the forefront.
Yeah.
That was the forerunner of turkey.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. But yeah, it's always a good time. I mean, I just like it for seeing people with smiles on their faces. You know.
That's
And
like
if you just listen, you listen, see how their thinking has improved from years ago. You know, in terms of the seriousness of things.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
They don't say Muslims no more.
Oh no. They're you know, I'm glad you mentioned that. Of course, you told the story about how they referenced you. I think that was Imam W.D. About how he had changed what they called it.
That's right.
There is a strong thread of respect
It's like something doesn't feel totally
for our faith and for us
I don't know, but I just look at them like something
in the overall community. And this cuts
Yeah.
across racial lines. I mean, it really does.
That's right.
And you know, I mean, I have decided to not jump on us as hard as maybe I may have done 6 to 9 months ago for not doing more, because I do still think that there are some restrictions and there are some roadblocks into our community, especially being able to accomplish some of the things that we know are needed in a community. But whatever it is about us,
Yeah.
We have actually done an excellent job of representing our faith. We are respectful.
I was down in Miami
We are respectful.
to Juma. I was down in Miami at Juma 2 weeks ago, and the brother who called the Adhan, he's Caucasian. He's American, white Caucasian, calling the Adhan. Now you see, and I'm talking about it wasn't no dressed up in Arab costumes. No, he was straight up who he was. Yeah, he had little had some tattoo on his arm, but he was serious. Serious. So you could see it. You could see it growing. Just like Allah said, when they come in, they'll come in droves. And when you see them, ask Allah for forgiveness.
Yeah. Yeah, I was surprised to find out. I went and met with, had lunch, really, with a Nepalese brother. So there's a fairly large Nepalese population in the Dallas area. And I had been kind of introduced to them at an interfaith thing a couple of years ago. Never really followed up and get to know any of them or anything like that. But anyway, one of the brothers who was here for the Dallas Acts Kind week that's happened recently said, hey, you need to meet so and so. Y'all got a lot in common or whatever. So I had lunch with the guy Wednesday. Yeah, Wednesday. I had lunch with him Wednesday. And, just trying to learn more about their community and stuff like that. He wanted to talk about Japan. I did not know this because we're so close to, Latin America, Mexico, and all that we see this growth. They're Hispanics, Mexicans becoming, accepting Al-Islam and all that. He said, that's not the earthquake. He said, the earthquake is Japan. Man, Japan. Now it's still not a huge number. But if you make a comparison to the number of conversions to Al-Islam in Japan, or the whole Islamic community in Japan, to say Mexico, it's not even close.
So if you live there,
man, there are so many people living in Japan that are Muslim that it's beginning to change the landscape of Japan.
It was like,
and I would have never known that if I hadn't had lunch.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's definitely Japan and China, and even China with all, that's why I guess they were so hard on the Uyghurs because of the development of that community. And but there's still people who are not Uyghurs, but they're Chinese. They also accept Islam. They have in fact, the Chinese government supports the maintenance of the masjid in Beijing. I went to their Juma one Friday, and you should see it, man. Brothers from all different types of Chinese. I say tribal. I don't want to use the word tribal, but tribe. Their sections. Their
right.
Their regions.
Mandarin and Cantonese.
Exactly.
I think, man, there are so many different types of Chinese.
Yeah.
And many of them are fascinated with African Americans, man. I'm telling you.
Yes, that's everywhere.
I'm telling you.
When I was in Thailand back in
I could tell they immediately were just like
80s, early 80s. Now, when I went there, I went to the southern part of Thailand because I had a friend that I worked with in New York, and he told me to visit his family. So he gave me a letter. So when I got there, I went, had a cab, taxi, whatever, take me to the house. I gave the letter from his brother, and they let me stay with them about 3 or 4 days. And so Friday, we were going to Juma. So I got in his car, and he passed a big, beautiful masjid. And I said, brother, that's the masjid? No, that's the government masjid. That's the government masjid. He took me out into a little village, right? Little bamboo covered structure. I went to Juma there. Right. So as soon as I got there, after Juma, the imam asked me to say some words. And the number one question they asked me, do I know Muhammad Ali? I still got some pictures.
Muhammad Ali. Muhammad Ali. Muhammad Ali.
They say Muhammad Ali Clay.
Yeah, Muhammad Ali.
I said, who are they talking about? Muhammad Ali, yeah. Yeah, I was a star there, brother. I see, I met him. I've been down to his training camp. Yeah, I know him very well. But again,
why? And knowing Khalil Ali.
That's fair. Yeah.
Yeah.
Remember Portia?
Oh, yeah. Portia. Yeah.
Sister
Captain?
No, but the one that cooked.
Yes.
Cooked at the camp. Oh man.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
That was the best time. That was my favorite time going there, man, for food.
I was invited to Turkey, and I was the supervisor of construction of a new town right outside of Medina.
Mm-hmm.
And the major contractors were Turkish. And so, but they had to come through me to approve a lot of their work. So because I treated them so decent and so kind, they invited me to Turkey. So we had a break. I think it was a Ramadan. We had, Eid break, something like 10 days or something like that. And see, we do 1 day and we got to go back to work. In Saudi Arabia, they do 10 or 12 days. And then, so that gave me opportunity to go to Turkey. So I went to Turkey, and I was picked up at the airport. Stayed with the Turkish family. Well, actually, one of the site supervisors, and then they took me to their grandfather's father's location in someplace near Izmir. I don't know where Izmir is near the coast, but the father was the mayor of this small town. And when I got there, he rode up. He came around with a limousine, and he told me to come get in. So he drove me around the small town, and I'm waving like Muhammad Ali, and the kids coming up. Oh my goodness! The kids they never. I guess they never come in contact with African American. But it was something else, man. It took me around like I was a dignitary. And they of course fed me and everything, and I couldn't pay for anything. Even the nice carpet, man.
They're like trying everything.
They told the man give me a great discount on a hand knotted carpet. So you see the effects. These are the effects that people don't know in terms of how Al-Islam, under the leadership of Imam W.D. Mohammed, has burst the seams of ignorance throughout the world. So, and it was just wonderful, you know. Alhamdulillah. And I ain't gonna talk about Rome, so Italy.
Talk about what?
I don't talk about Rome and Italy. Pope John Paul II and the Focaloria.
Oh yeah, you were there, right?
Yes.
What year did you go?
It was the Jubilee.
Oh, okay. I mean,
2000.
when the
Oh,
man
I think
went,
it was 1999.
when the man went, I was there in '96 when the man went. Well, he went twice, but I went the first time.
Yeah, I went the first time too.
Okay, we were
And then the
there
second
together.
time.
Then.
Yeah.
Okay, alhamdulillah.
In fact, we were like, I was part of the security.
Which I think is kind of like naturally
Yeah.
these big companies grow. But
Yeah.
I'm determined to at least not
So
be like that. We'll
this
see.
is the-
I don't know. Time will tell.
that's why the Imam said this is the greatest time in the world. Everybody looked at him and said, greatest time in the world. Yeah. Yes, indeed.
Was that the first modern day visit of a prominent Islamic scholar
Huh?
leader? Is that the first modern day visit of a prominent Islamic scholar or leader to the Vatican?
To the Vatican.
What's her name? Shoe stop and slam.
Yeah. From
I mean,
from
none
the
of the
plantation to the Vatican.
grand muftis from Egypt.
Grand Mufti.
Any of those people had not been.
I don't know, but I'll tell you what. The crowd was most I mean, I'm talking about the Vatican and the plaza was full packed. And when the Imam came up to speak, when he was announced, they all applauded. I mean, it was a great applause, you know.
Yeah, that was the second year. That was
The second year,
96.
yeah. 96. Okay.
I went the first year.
I went twice.
Yeah,
So
okay. You went both.
after a while, you know, the numbers get the years get confused in terms of which one. But we stayed at the Casa Grandolfo twice, right?
Yeah. The first time we did, definitely. And I was gracious that my community covered my airfare. So when I tried to do it again next year, they nixed that. Oh no.
They said once is enough for you. That's pretty cool though. That once would have been enough for me. I mean, that would have been. Oh gosh, that would have been something, especially to go the first time. Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
that was a blessing. Both times.
But and they had us sitting on that platform. It was and there were a lot of people there in my community, so I didn't get a chance to see everybody. It was good.
That is fantastic, and I'm glad you mentioned our community because I wanted to ask any or all of you if there's any update on Sister Christian.
Oh no, I know that I made dua for her, and that's about it. I didn't know what the situation, detailed situation.
Yeah, neither do I. I just knew she was hospitalized. I read that, but that was the extent of my knowledge.
Well, it's almost time for me to make salat, brother. So,
right. Well, I will ask Imam Tala to close us out. He's still with us. I think he is.
Yeah.
Bishop, keep on.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Rabbana hasanatan afarakirati hasanatan akina adabina. O Allah, give us good in this world, good in the after, and defend us from the torment of the fire. Alhamdulillah.
Hey.
Alhamdulillah.
All right, guys. Great meeting. Sister Martha, thank you so much for your contributions. And hopefully everyone has a wonderful day. And
Inshallah.
tomorrow evening, I'm planning on playing a video for a YouTube video for the first hour. It has a lot to do with the plight of men, and especially young men in the United States of America, from some people that I have a great deal of respect for, are doing the presentations. And if you join, that's great. This is a lot more for, I don't know. Hopefully there are people that will watch it, have questions that we might be able to get into afterwards. But no real reason to attend if you've got other things that you need to do with family, just for yourself. But that's kind of what I had in mind for you.
Okay. Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum assalam.
Assalamu alaikum, everybody.